to try and get youth back to work.
To conclude. Thank you very good, Senator. Senator Van Turnhout, could I ask you to conclude, please?
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Minister, both for your input tonight and for being here for the full debate. I'd also like to thank each of my colleagues who contributed to the debate, but I would want to give a very special thank you to my own independent group, who without hesitation, and you can imagine with a group we have many issues that we would like to be bringing before this floor to debate, but without hesitation, I think Senator O'Donnell evidenced superbly when she seconded the motion of how our group feels on this issue. But I can tell you at the group meeting, Senator Sapone, O'Brien, McAneill and McAleese, we all had stories to contribute about the value of youth work and the importance that youth work played in each of our lives. And for me, when we're talking here tonight about cuts, Minister, I listened very carefully to what you had to say, and the quote, sharper focus on quality outcomes and evidence-based practice. And, part of me says that just means cuts, but I take the spirit of what you're meaning. But equally, I read in the Indicon report where it says the public funding provided by the state for youth work services represents value for money. And that's in the summary of the report. It's not that it will represent, it represents value for money. So, Minister, when we're looking at the review of funding streams, which is something actually youth organisations have been asking for years, this crudely cutting organisations by the same percentage every year, whether you improve or you're not, it doesn't suit anybody. So, very much welcome that there will be a review. But that review, the terms of reference, the transparency of the review, how will it happen? I suppose that's the question many organisations are wondering, Minister. So, I suppose my question to you really is, and I don't want to divide the House, but will you give a commitment to meet the National Youth Council of Ireland to discuss the funding stream? So thank you for giving that commitment to meet with them. Also, Minister, as I said, I think when you're reviewing, I think it's two-way as well. I think the state has a responsibility to review the resources at its hands, whether it's public buildings, schools. What resources does the state have other than cash transfers in order to support the work of youth work? How can it stretch itself to deliver more for youth work? Minister, you mentioned about the challenges and opportunities, the youth policy framework, the EU presidency, and the many decisions which I think none of us envy you that you're going to have to make. But when I talk about resources, I think each of us here as senators see ourselves as resources for the state also. In the presidency programme that is coming up, if we can assist, if we can help the development of the youth policy framework, the decisions that have to be made, I would see us, certainly I can speak for myself, but we want to be there to support youth work, to support the development of youth work. I think that was evidence in the debate that we had here tonight. So we are here also as a resource. The most important for me, Minister, is everybody knows we're in the most horrible of times and difficult decisions need to be made. But we do need to know where we're going with those decisions. So yes to reform, but what comes after reform? Can we look to see that we all know what the pathway, and I know that's part of the youth policy framework, but we do need to have a look that we all work together and build that. And we all know process is very important. So the organisations need to buy in as much as the state needs to buy into that process. So I think for me, I just would like to underline the importance of us working together to ensure that we maybe the next time Indicon and NYCI contribute a report, perhaps they'll have an increased value. But I think 2.2 is a pretty good return on investment. If any bank was giving me that at the moment, I'd take it. So it's a pretty good investment. So the more we can do together to work together. And thank you for your commitment, Minister, to meet with the National Youth Council of Ireland on this issue. And hopefully we can work together on this in the future.
Thank you, Senator. Is the amendment being pressed? The question is that the amendment be made. Those in favour say "ta," and those against say "nil." I think the question is carried.